कांग्रेस आ रही है, बीजेपी जा रही है. कौन जीतेगा हरियाणा? A two-party contest. The Congress is almost.
Views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal, and do not reflect the views of any organization.
Namaskar dosto, hello and welcome to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Now today on Straight Bat, I'm hoping to give you an answer to one of the burning political questions at the moment. Kaun jeetega Haryana, the state that's going to assembly polls next week? Who is winning the battle for Haryana? It is a significant election because it is the first direct BJP versus Congress face-off since the Lok Sabha general elections. I've been just traveling through Haryana over the last weekend, and here are my 10 takeaways. Listen in carefully, friends, to my 10 takeaways on Kaun Jeetega Haryana. Takeaway number 1. Haryana is seeing what I haven't seen in a BJP ruled state in a while. Classic 10-year anti-incumbency. Now, what do I mean by classic anti-incumbency? This is where voter anger and voter fatigue come together. This doesn't happen too often, but that's exactly the mood on the ground I sensed in Haryana. Badlav or change or parivartan is the buzzword on the ground in Haryana across large parts. Takeaway number 2. With a large number of people seemingly wanting to vote out the BJP government, the Congress has become the beneficiary of what is best described as the default option for the majority of voters. Congress aa rahi hai, BJP ja rahi hai is the Congress slogan which is echoing, not because Haryanvis have suddenly developed any great love for the Congress, but because in what is slowly becoming a two-party contest, the Congress is almost emerging as the default option as a result for those who want to vote out the BJP. Which brings me to point number 3. In this Congress versus BJP fight in Haryana, it's the smaller parties, the independents and the regional parties that are getting squeezed out. You see, last time in 2019, Janata Party, the JJP of Dushyant Chautala won 10 seats and Dushyant Chautala became the kingmaker and deputy chief minister. In 2014, the INLD, the Indian National Lok Dal, the original party of Devi Lal, won as many as 31 seats. This time, the JJP will be lucky to even get a single seat, and the INLD also may get 1 or 2 seats at best. You see, the anti-incumbency against the BJP in Haryana is also transferring to its one-time allies. It's actually a familiar pattern in recent times. Regional parties that ally with the BJP slowly get squeezed out over time. You've seen it with the Assam Gana Parishad, for example, in Assam. I'm now seeing it in Haryana as well. Takeaway number 4. The high level of unpopularity of former Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar. For someone who was the Chief Minister of a state for over 9 years till he was finally brought to Delhi in March this year, it's astounding that Mr. Khattar today is hardly on any publicity material of the BJP in Haryana. It's almost as if even the BJP doesn't want to remind the Haryana voters of the former Chief Minister's tenure. The incumbent Chief Minister Naib Saini is seen as a Khattar man also. He's tried his best to somehow create his own base, break out and project himself as a OBC backward caste leader. But frankly, 6 months is hardly enough. If the BJP had to change their Chief Minister in Haryana, they should have probably done it a year or 2 ago. And interestingly, even Prime Minister Modi, who was looked at with such affection in Haryana till a decade ago and thereby brought the BJP to power for the first time in 2014, Mr. Modi too is unable to lift his party and he too no longer seems attractive to the voters now. Takeaway number 5. Bhupinder Singh Hooda, the Congress's likely chief ministerial face, is experiencing a revival of sorts at the age of 77. It isn't as if Mr. Hooda has done anything special, but somehow he appears to be at the right place at the right time, and suddenly is being projected as the Jat face in a way of the Congress, and the party has almost been outsourced to him in Haryana. He completely monopolized ticket distribution, and all the other Congress contenders, especially their member of parliament Kumari Shelja, have been pushed to the margins for now. Takeaway number 6. The Jats have decided, it seems, to put their entire weight almost entirely behind the Congress. This is unusual. Traditionally, the Jats in Haryana were anti-Congress, and at 22 to 25% vote, that can have a decisive impact on polling. About 37 of the 90 seats are decided by a Jat vote. But as one Jat farmer told me, इस बार किसान, जवान और पहलवान तीनों बीजेपी के खिलाफ हो गए हैं. You see, the farmer agitation, the Agniveer protests, and the wrestler agitation have all come together and created what is best described at the moment as the perfect storm in Haryana. Which brings me to takeaway 7, since we were speaking of Pahalwans. The women wrestlers who protested against Brij Bhushan Saran Singh on the streets of Delhi last year, and Olympian Vinesh Phogat, who's contesting on a Congress ticket in particular, are, dare I say, very popular in Haryana. In fact, it is astounding what an iconic figure Vinesh Phogat has become in Haryana since she decided to contest in the elections. I was on the campaign trail with her in Julana in Jind and was struck by just how many men and women were instantly gravitating to her. Outside Haryana, Vinesh Phogat may divide public opinion. Within Haryana, she is now heroine number 1. And it's not easy to do that in what is traditionally a very male-dominated polity. In fact, one of my images from my Haryana trip was interviewing Vinesh Phogat in an audience where there were only men. And she had managed to put all of them outside the room, and we did the interview. Okay, let's come to takeaway number 8, which is the caste factor. In 2014 and 2019, the BJP benefited from the splintering of the Jat vote and a consolidation of the non-Jat vote in its direction, especially post the 2016 Jat reservation riots that truly divided Haryana society. So what's changed now? Frankly, divide and rule politics based on caste, my friends, has reached exhaustion point. As I said earlier in this blog, the Jats are consolidating behind the Congress because they now want a greater say once again in power politics. But even more significantly, it's the Dalit vote that's shifting. Remember, Dalits are around 22% of Haryana's population, and their votes across various subcastes are the key. It's the Dalit vote drifting away from the BJP that has changed the game. We saw it in Lok Sabha over the Samvidhan Khatre Mein Hai slogan. We may see it in Vidhan Sabha too. The BJP is hoping that Mayawati, who's tied up with the INLD, or Chandrasekhar Azad, who's tied up with the JGP, can also get a section of the Dalit vote. But at the moment, the Dalits too have moved away from the BJP. Takeaway number 9, the youth factor. Traveling through Haryana, I was struck by a sense of hopelessness among the young. Haryana has one of the highest youth unemployment in the country, and it's apparent that the young of Haryana are feeling a sense of despondency, of a kind that I have seen, my friends, in very few other states at the moment. The visible lack of opportunities for the young is something that stands out when you travel across Haryana. Which brings me to my final observation. And this is a larger social and economic point that I wish to make as much as it is political. Haryana is a state which is in danger of being left behind. You see, there is the Haryana of the bright lights of Gurugram and Faridabad, upwardly mobile and industrialized with high incomes, benefiting no doubt from proximity to Delhi. And then there is the Haryana of a mayhem or a jhajjar that seems to quite clearly fall off the map. One heard stories of extortion by gangs, of localized corruption on every issue, of broken village roads, of local corruption, as I said, in every deal, and very little development. Even the attempt by the previous Khattar government to cut out middlemen by creating a more digitized portal-driven system of property identification has had a backlash. It's all very troubling because Haryana is a state that should have ideally much more to offer, but is trapped in its inability to build a more equitable society. It is these rising inequalities that have pushed Haryana to the brink. I think you will get a fair idea from these 10 points as to who I think is likely to win on the 8th of October. Yes, it is advantage Congress in Haryana for sure. Is it a done deal? Not quite, especially not after the Lok Sabha elections where most pundits went badly wrong. But it will take a big self-goal from the Congress, a sudden surge for the BJP, or possibly independents getting a disproportionate vote share, all of which can happen to change Haryana's broad trajectory in this election. But for now at least, the first big BJP versus Congress battle post-2024 may be heading only one way at the moment. As a postscript, let me say that for all that I've said about politics, Haryana makes some of the best parathas. Haryanvi milk and dahi is just super, and the Haryanvi people are warm, friendly, and most importantly, direct when they speak to you. Yes, they could all do though with much better governance. That was the Straight Bat. Do of course subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Namaskar, Jai Hind.